Hi everyone, how are you doing? You've probably already seen the title of this video if you've clicked on it, so we're just gonna skip most of the most of the pleasantries and jump straight into the whole purpose of this video because there's quite a lot to get through. This is a video that I wanted to do specifically for people who may have played Pokemon TCG before, most likely competitively, or for those of you that are now kind of quite well versed in the basic rules of the Pokemon trading card game and you want to learn a bit more about how to dive a little bit deeper into what the meta game is. So for me, like for example, I don't really play like Hearthstone, alright, but maybe if I learnt the rules, played some casuals for like a couple of months, and now I'm starting to think, okay, time to learn the meta game. If someone did a video like that, like if someone did a video like this for that game, then that would be what I would hope to get the information I need from, if that makes sense. I think I just did not make much sense. I confused myself, so you're probably confused. Anyway, yeah, this is a video purely for those of you who understand the game, and mainly this is going to be great for people who are returning to the game, alright? And we are going to go through. Okay, I've got five things that I've written down that I want to teach you now, okay? Number one, what the competitive decks are, okay? Number two, playing online. Number three, the digital side of the game, so that's going to include playing online, but I'm going to go into it a bit more. Number four, the physical cards, where we're at now with physical cards. And finally, number five is the must-haves. Okay, and that is pretty much going to be this video. It's going to break down into those 5 pieces. Now, I think I'm probably not going to do it necessarily in that order. Let me just see. I've got them written down, so that's why I'm looking down. Physical cards. Yeah, so do you know what? I'm probably going to do it in that order, but first of all, I'm going to do an intro piece, like kind of introducing Pokemon 2021, what it is right now, okay? Now, also, if you're watching this video when it is published, then you are watching it on the day that Battle Styles, which has just come up on the screen now, is released. I'm recording this a day early. I don't believe that I will receive my physical Battle Style cards tomorrow. Everywhere I've ordered bits from seems to be telling me that they are delayed. Typical. So that's fine. I've got no that, but I do have, you can see in the top corner, top right, I've got 13,914 P coins. They're going to let me buy some digital boosters, so we'll do some digital boostering probably over the weekend, but physical cards will not be in my possession for another few weeks by the looks of it. So anyway, that's the sort of bulk of the intro. Now let me reintroduce you to what Pokemon cards is like in 2021. 2021. Alright, so the first thing that we need to look at really is what are the cards looking like? Because if you stopped at a certain time, then you would have been post-EX, possibly even post-level X, but pre-reintroduction of EXs. So there are, I actually don't have any of the EXs on here. Maybe this right now is jogging your memory. Maybe you remember these were called prime cards, and these predate the arrival of abilities. Maybe you remember these plasma cards as well. As you can see here, there's an example of an Absol with an ability. So there is no longer Pokemon powers or Pokemon bodies, okay? They're all just abilities, and they work like Poke powers used to work, which some of them are ones you have to declare, and some of them are ones that are passive, so they're always an activation, but you don't physically do anything. Can I give you... Yeah, here's a really good example. So this is a passive ability. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic, the retreat cost is 1 more. So that's always in effect. So that's passive, right? I don't need to declare anything for that to happen. If I scroll, I'm going to find an example of... Let's think of an example of... okay, let's keep it simple. Charizard. We all know Charizard. A lot of Charizards. Where's the... God, my eyeballs. Let's have a look here. This would do. No, that's not. Okay, here we go. Roaring Resolve. Okay, once during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on this Pokemon. If you do, search your deck for 2 fire energy and attach them to this Pokemon. So this is an example of an ability that is not passive. This is what would have been a Pokepower, and the previous Absol would have been a Pokebody, right? So let's got that out of the way first. So that's the first big potentially change that you may have missed. I believe level X's had powers and bodies. Reintroduction of EXs, did they at that point have them? I don't know, but okay. So yeah, what you may have missed was the reintroduction of Pokemon EXs. Here's an example, Absol EX. So this was just like the old EXs, apart from, I believe all of these were basic. So you could have had, oh, here you go, here, Aegislash is a stage 2. But here it is as a basic Pokemon. It is an EX, and down in the bottom corner is the 2 prize card rule. Now we don't have EXs anymore, so I'm just going to brush over these quite quickly. We did also for a time have Mega EXs, which I wasn't actually even around for, so we're going to brush over those really quickly. Let's give it a fast forward. So we had the EXs, and then we had, which is now more relevant because we still have them, GXs. Well, oh, okay. Sorry, I need to untick that. Okay, so Pokemon GX. Think Pokemon EX, like old-fashioned Pokemon EX. See, this is actually evolved from an unidentified fossil, this Aerodactyl. The big difference, these are 2 prize cards as well, by the way. The big difference is that they all have a GX attack. So you can see that Aerodactyl GX has Wild Dive GX. You can only use 1 GX attack per turn. Per game. Okay, so what happens is you get a GX counter that sits in the corner, and when you use your GX, you flip it to let you know that you've used it. Some of these cards have longer lasting effects. Some of them are just very, very powerful one blow moves. Look at that, a lone golem. I've never seen this before. Yeah, so again, he's got his attacks and he's got a GX attack, and again, he's an evolved. Now there are basic GX Pokemon as well, of course. But yeah, so we've got GXs. GXs are still in circulation now, although come the next rotation, which is September, they will be going, along with tag teams. So this is where it gets kind of strange. Yeah, how many Pokemon can you fit in one card, right? Arceus and Dialga and Palkia GX. So affectionately known as ADP. This one, a tag team, as you can see in the bottom, these are called rule boxes, by the way. So the rule box here, tag team rule, when your tag team is knocked out, your opponent takes, yes, 3 prizes. Whoa, half the game in one fell swoop. Now you can see here that they have a lot of HP. This type, if you haven't seen it before, is Dragon. Don't worry, it's now gone, or it's going, I should say, it is gone. Bottom here as well, Fairy, also gone/going. Tag teams were around during the later end of the GX era, and they're kind of the later end of the format. So if I actually went to standard, some of these I think are gone. So I didn't even know you can get there's a Deoxys one. But yeah, that's tag teams, that's GXs. That's just a quick run through of that, and we're also learning about the fact that we have abilities. These count as single Pokemon, so you could have 4 Arceus, you could have 4 Dialga, 4 Palkia, and 4 ADP GXs in your deck. And I do believe as well, of course, you can have basic sort of Dialga, a Dialga GX, and the ADP GX as well. So you can have all of those in your deck, so it's the name of the card. Alright, let's get super modern now, far more modern. Let's get rid of our GXs. And move into Pokemon V. Okay. Pokemon V. Now, V Pokemon are the new version of EX/GX. So we can see, once again, we've got Aegislash as an example. We saw Aegislash EX previously as a basic. Here it is again, basic. It has a rule box, the V rule. When your Pokemon V is knocked out, you take 2 prizes, so just like the old EXs and GXs. It doesn't have a 1 per game attack. They just seem to have a lot more HP they do big damage. You can see as well that it's clear as to what the weakness and resistance is, because it tells you in the bottom where it always does. They just seem to do away with the idea of windows at this point with the shinies. It's just no window, it's just a big fat picture. Yeah, think of that what you will. Important changes that we can also talk about here is the newest addition, which is a VMAX. Agislash-VMAX evolves from Agislash-V. It is a Dynamax. So if you know anything about Sword and Shield, you know that the Pokemon can go very, very, very big. This is Dynamax or Gigantamax or something, Gigamax, Eternamax, all this sort of stuff. Essentially, this is a Stage 1, and you can see on the rule box, again, it's 3 prizes. But look at the HP. Yes, power creep is real in Pokemon. It is super, super real. So if you could maybe cash your mind back to EX Deoxys, Shiftry EX, 3 energy 50 for a Stage 2 EX Pokemon. Might have done 70 actually. Either way, not much, right? Not much compared to this thing. What does this do? 160 plus 30 for each prize card you've taken. Yeah, so we're talking big numbers now for 3 energy. That's just the way it is, alright? We've got big numbers, big Pokemon in the TCG nowadays. So that's our main difference. We've got Vs and Vmaxes. So Vs and Vmaxes are the way forward at the moment. It doesn't. I love that. What the hell is that? That is kind of the way it is. See, this one is called a Gigantamax. I don't know. There's no real difference. Like this is a Dynamax. That was a Gigantamax. I think the yeah, that's a Gigantamax. The legendaries are called Gigamax. No, that's Gigantamax as well. I don't know what the Gigamax is. Charizard there, Gigantamax, Cinderace, Dynamax. See, I think maybe if you know the video game, you're going to know the difference. The only one that I know that is, I believe, unique is Eternatus. He's got an Eternamax, of course. Yeah. Anyway, these are the new multi-prize Pokemon. They're called Pokemon V. As you can see, they generally come in a regular, and then they come in a particularly shiny. And then the VMAXs come in their regular, and then they come in a rainbow shiny, which is also a secret rare. So you can see this is 190 out of 189. So when it comes to collecting, these are secretly rare. This is a different version of Centiskorch that's come out in a different set. So we now have 3 different versions of Centiskorch, 3 different versions of Centiskorch VMAX. Charizard V, yeah, there's a lot of these. There's a lot of these. Good luck getting one of them. Yeah, they're quite rare or quite special. Yeah, I think that's all we need to talk about with Vs and Vmaxes, to be honest. I think that's it. Let's move on to talking about single prizes. Can you believe there's still such thing as a single prizer? Well, there is. There it is as an Absol. Comparatively to the V Pokemon, they have little HP. Their attacks don't do as much. Yeah, it's pretty standard as well. You know, it's the same as always been. You still get the Rev Hollows. You can see here this one's a reverse hollow, so the character window is not hollow, but the actual rest of the card is shiny. Just trying to think if there's anything here that I really need to talk about. Now we do have our standard sort of evolutionary ability. Here we go. We've got Stage 1, evolved from Appleton. Pretty jokes, pretty jokes. These ones here are exclusive to pre-releases, so pre-releases now have a thing called a build and battle set. I've never owned one. You get, I want to say it's like 40 cards. You get a 40 card set. You get one of the 4 promos from each set. So Flapple was in, well, Rebel Clash, as you can see, and you get some boosters. And the idea is you kind of draft with the booster, the deck that you've got, and that creates your 40 card deck for that purpose. Yeah, so they are still there. These are still available. Non-V Pokemon are still a thing. There's not really much to say about them. They operate the same as they always have in Pokemon TCG. So nothing new there. So Blastoise V. Nothing new there. Nothing new. Oh, let's move straight through to trainers. So trainer-wise, let's just apply the most recent sets, shall we? Right. So trainers are split up into 4 categories. We've got trainer items. So this is a I'll say it'll be 3 because a Pokemon tool card counts as an item. So you've got trainer item here. So this is a Pokemon tool card. We know what we do with tools. You attach them and it gives your Pokemon an ability. Sometimes you get shiny ones. We've got supporter, trainer, supporter. We know how the supporters work. Something that has changed, if you left at a certain time, you won't have noticed the old supporters, and I mean old. I'll tell you what, let me get one up for us. What is going to come up here that I don't want you to see? Here we go. Let's just work with this. Let's go Castaway Pokemon TCG. Now we can see here from this. Bloody hell! Let's get a big picture. That's not a big picture. Scott, save me, Scott. All right, there we go. You can see here from the Scott, you can only play one supporter card each time. When you play this card, put it next to your active Pokemon. When you turn it in to discard it, that text is gone. At some point along the way, they changed it so that you just straight up discard the supporter, and you have to just kind of magically remember. It does slightly change it because if you've got cards that draw support that discard pile, it means it's not technically in your discard pile. If it's next to your active, personally, I prefer the older supporter rule, depending on the active, but it is what it is. So we've got supporters. There's another support bull guy. God, he keeps me awake at night. He's so scary. More supporters. There's tool cards. This is just a standard. Oh no, that is a tool card. Excuse me. Tools. This is just a normal item card. I think that's. Oh, the other thing that we would have is a stadium. There's a stadium. So stadiums, they do what they used to do. They're kind of color coded as well. You can see the green. So it plays out into the middle, and then there's an effect that's always in effect. I think that's pretty much it for trainers. Yeah, that is it. That's it for trainers. Energy-wise, we do still have some special energies. Here we go. Special energies, and of course there are basic energies. So they're all things that we can learn. Now there is another Pokemon type that I didn't touch on that I'm going to touch on now. I'm going to get rid of that. Keep it standard. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find... There it is. Prism. Apply. Wow, there's only 2 in circulation. Okay, so these are Prism stars. Now you can only have 1 Prism star card. I can have 1 Prism card with the same name in your deck. Okay, so these aren't the same as the old star cards. I don't know, because star card would only have 1 of it in your deck, 1 star. When it is knocked out, it goes into the lost zone. So if you don't remember the lost zone, that's kind of removed from play area, which sits between yours and your opponent's. Now, if I'm not mistaken, both players put their cards together in the lost zone. It seems to be that's the way it looks on the online TCG. You might remember Gengar Level X was, I think, the first card to really utilize the lost zone, and then we had some stuff with Arceus as well. So yeah, anytime you, instead of discarding these, they go into the lost zone, which means they can't be pulled back out as well. There is, what reminded me is that there is actually a Prism's energy, but I think that's rotated out now, so we don't need to worry about that. They are also going to be rotated out, they're going to be gone, alright? Something that we also didn't touch on, although it's not technically a different type of card. Oh, I can't spell Celebi. There it is. These are called amazing rares, and they're kind of defined by the ridiculous energy cost and their very splashy design. They're special rares. You can see the A at the bottom, that's their rarity. They just behave like any normal card. They're just very fancy looking. There's a few different ones. They're all a bit funky. I think Raikou. Yeah, Raikou, amazing rare. They look really nice in real life, but they're fairly pointless for card playing at the moment. The only one that's potentially useful is Jirachi at the moment, which is this amazing rare Jirachi. It's okay. It's okay. So that's kind of the basics. Different card types that we have now. Sort of run through everything else the same. 60 cards, 4 prize, 60 cards, 6 prize cards, 7 card hand. Draw at the beginning of your turn. 1 energy attached per turn. That's all the same. 1 attack. You know, that's all the same. So if you can remember that, which I'm sure you can, I don't think I'll ever forget how to play Pokemon TCG. Like all the little ins and outs, like do you draw on your first turn? Can you play support? And can you attack? Those change usually every season. Little changes are made, but the basics of that, I don't think I'll ever forget. So that's that. We're now going to move on to talk about competitive decks. Okay, we've got a lot of competitive decks to get through. The first one I'm going to show you is ADP Zacian. ADP-Z is probably the bane for a lot of people. We did talk about this Arcid Agapalgia GX before, and we're going to look at it a little bit more in depth. So we want to, in this archetype, you start with the ADP where possible. Altered Creation GX. I'm going to skip you from trying to read this. There's quite a lot to take in. Essentially, 1 Metal Energy. If you also have a water attached, your GX attack for game gives your all Pokemon on your side 30 extra damage, and you take an extra prize card for every knockout. Yeah, I mean it's crazy strong. It's a really strong card. This one I pulled in a booster, not shiny, but yeah, it's a really powerful card. That is sort of the backbone beginning of the deck. Now the other big hitter in this deck, which is probably a staple, is Zacian V. Zacian V, quite simple, 3 Metal Energy, 230. We did just talk about ADP adding extra 30 on, so that's 260. Intrepid Sword is where it gets interesting. I'll save you from reading it again. Pick up the top 3 cards of your deck. Any Metal Energy finally you can attach straight to Zacian, or put them into your hand, and your turn ends. So turn 1, if you go first, you actually can't attack. Turn 1, if you go first, you're probably just going to attach Intrepid Sword and just start burning through cards. That's the backbone of this archetype. It's powered up by other things such as Metal Sorcerer. If you remember Dark Patch, it's the same for Metal Energy. You use Metal Sorcerer, you put a Metal Energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Metal Pokemon. So a nice bit of speed up. We've got some energy switches to get it to the active. New card, relatively new card, Rusted Sword gives Zacian V another 30 damage. So if you've used Altered Creation, you've got this attached, you're doing 290. And you're also taking extra prize cards. So, for example, this is a good setup Pokemon, Dedenne GX, 160 HP. He's a GX, so it takes an extra prize card for that. So 2 prize cards for a GX, plus the extra 1 for Altered Creation, 290 damage, 3 prize cards in one hit. Pretty big boy numbers there. So that's ADP. I'm going to work down this list. Charizard, Leon, nope. Cinderace, nope. So, where's there he is, Centiskorch. Okay, Centiskorch is the next one we're going to look at. So Centiskorch is quite a big Pokemon at the moment. It's a Gigantamax, so again, it's basically a stage 1 that's worth 3 prizes. 2 colorless energy. Now, what it does 40 damage base, plus 40 for each fire energy attached to it. Alright, so if you've got 2 fire energy, that's 120. After you do damage, you can attach a fire energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Okay? So, for example, 2 energy, 120, you hit for 120, you attach fire energy. Next turn, let's see you attach another fire energy. It now has 4 fire energy, that's 200 damage. Okay? That's basically how this card works. It builds up, it accumulates very, very quickly. And the way that it starts is Volcanion, Flare Starter. If you go second and you use this attack, you can get 3 fire energy from your deck and attach them straight to one of your Pokemon. So turn 1 for you, you can get 3 energy on a benched Centiskorch, like a regular Centiskorch V, which looks like this here. You don't tend to attack with it. Radiating Heat's alright, Burning Train is alright. It's mainly about getting this big boom. We also have Charizard and Reshiram GX, which is quite easy to obtain. It's not a particularly hard card to get. Double Blaze, if you have an extra 3 fire energy, it does 300. It's not affected by any effects on the opponent's Pokemon other than weakness. You're going to go and hit for 600 on a grass Pokemon. Outrage as well, extra 10 for each damage count on this Pokemon, so you can see how that can accumulate for 260 HP. Flare Strike, pretty powerful as well. It's just about getting big numbers on the board. Cramorant can snipe with Spit Shot for 160, so this is essentially the same attack as Garchomp's C level X had, but double the damage. If you remember that Dedenne we talked about has 160 HP, so this card can hit a benched Dedenne GX for a straight knockout, which is really powerful. So that is another archetype that we've talked about here. Let's keep going down the list. Cinderace isn't really an archetype. Cinderace, no. Colossal. This is, I would call this an archetype. Meta. It's not sort of S tier. It's definitely a bit lower. Colossal VMAX here. Oh, it's such a cool card. I love this Pokemon. It's cool. Eruption Shot. Discard the top card of your deck. If it's a fighting energy. Oh, in fact, if it's just any energy, attach it to Colossal, and this attack does an extra 100, extra 90. So you're doing 130, and it powers itself up. Gmax Boulder 4 energy 240. It's alright. I did do a video on this deck. I've done a video on Colossal, on Centiskorch as well. So do have a look on my profile for those. Now, it's alright. It's got good HP as well. The weakness is quite good. There's not a lot of powerful grass at the moment, although that is kind of set to change potentially very soon. Again, this is a 3-prizer. It's big hits. It's quite fast moving. Backup attack here. Galarian Surfetch can power itself up in one turn. When it goes to the active spot, you can move as many energies you want onto it. So it can literally one turn, you can play it down. You could switch from a damaged Colossal VMAX into it, and then put 3 energy on it, 200, boom. It's quite versatile. It's a good card. This is an evolution, by the way. Surfetch is an evolution of Farfetch'd. All right, the Galarian version of Farfetch'd from Sword and Shield is different to the regular version of Farfetch'd, and it evolves. So you will have noticed possibly from Sword and Shield and from Sun and Moon. Is it Sun and Moon? Yeah, there are different versions now of Pokemon. They've started doing that. They've done like a Galarian Meowth, a Alolan Meowth, and things like that, which is quite cool. But yeah, this is kind of the point of this deck. It tanks quite well with Stone Fighting Energy. Fighting Pokemon get 20 less damage done to it. And it also has buff padding. If you've got exactly 4 energy retreat costs, you get an extra 50 health. So you can see how this can have 380 HP, and it can reduce damage through Stone Fighting. And that's kind of the purpose of this deck. It is not a tier 1 deck though. It's probably like tier 2. Now, one of the other big ones that is probably dying very soon. I don't think I've written this one down. I should have. It's very powerful. This is Desagoons. Desagoon is the sort of, in my opinion, the premium wall deck. The point here, Decidueye. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's V and Pokemon GX. Now, this V, in this purpose, includes VMAXs. Okay, V includes VMAX. Writing VMAX on a card does not include Vs. A Pokemon VMAX is a V Pokemon. A Pokemon V is not a VMAX, alright? And Pokemon GX. So already you can see all these big hitters suddenly cannot touch this card. Now, if you're playing a deck of basics that are not GXs and Vs, which is also a quite common deck, then you have Galarian Obstagoon, Obstruct. Once during your turn, during opponent's next turn, prevent all damage on this Pokemon by basics. So this is essentially a deck that just stops your opponent from attacking. It's quite good. As far as non-GX decks go, this is about as good as it gets, I think. Rosa, when you're knocked out, you can search deck for a trainer, a Pokemon, and a basic energy. So you kind of let yourself get knocked out, and then you've got yourself, say you've got Rowlet, and something gets knocked out. Say you got Snorlax, it gets knocked out. You promote Rowlet, you use Rosa, you search deck for Decidueye, Rare Candy, and a Grass Energy. And that's basically how this deck works. And then you're just kind of walling and slowly chipping away, doing damage. So that's Decigoons. We're going to keep going. Right, where are we going with this now? Dragapult. Now, Dragapult, this version of Dragapult is probably not the premium version of Dragapult, but Dragapult itself is going to start making a comeback. Let's have a look at Dragapult. Dragapult VMAX is the main point here. This was, when it first came out, the premium card. So second Sword and Shield set came out, and this was the card to have. 1 energy shred, not affected by any effects in the opponent's Pokemon, so that's good for getting around that Decidueye we just talked about. Max Phantom 130, put 5 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon any way you like, so this is good for setting up more knockouts and such. There's not really too much to say. This is just a quite simple, straightforward deck. I believe a 4-4, just 4-4 Dragapult with like some, draw Pokemon Dedenne that we looked at before, has actually placed sort of second and first in tournaments. This version is about energy denial. So this Clefable, when you evolve, you can put an energy card from your opponent's active Pokemon back on top of the deck. So you're just Dimension Breach discards a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon when you play Giratina. So play Giratina, discard a special energy. And then of course we have Crushing Hammer, which is energy removal 2. Flip a coin of heads, discard an energy attachment to Pokemon. So the idea here is just mega disruption while you set up, don't let your opponent set up. There is new versions of Dragapult, including a card which I don't have called Esper, which I can show you. Esper. There it is. It can do 20 damage from one of your opponent's bench for each damage counter on that Pokemon. So put 5 damage counters on your opponent's bench, and then next turn hit them for 100. It's pretty OP. 3 energy, Danny. That's quite a lot. It is quite a lot. Where's that Persian? Here it is. Ignore all energy in the attack course of each of your Pokemon play that has a Cataday attack. So Esper did have the Cataday attack, so it means that that attack is free of charge. So that is the point of that deck. It's not really getting moving, but it's just while I'm looking down the list, I'm seeing that that's something I should probably talk about. That's Dragapult. Now Eternatus. Eternatus came out and basically rocked the whole format, and it was intended to do so. Let's have a look at Eternatus. 340 HP is, I think, one of the highest for a VMAX, if not joint highest with Snorlax VMAX. Let's just go through this. Ability, basically when this Pokemon is in play, you can only play Darkness Pokemon, but you do have 8 bench. 8 bench. So rather than 5 bench, you've gained an extra 3. So you have 9 Pokemon in play. Dread End does 30 damage for each Darkness Pokemon in play. So you have 9 in play. That's 2 energy, 270 damage. Yeah, super big. The fact that this is so powerful is why people would play Colossal. Colossal having that weakness advantage. Even so, Colossal isn't necessarily like a 9-1. It's maybe like a 7-3, maybe 8-2, depending on how you play it. Obviously, that Galarian Surface can just knock this thing out in one hit, which is fantastic. But yeah, it can be difficult. There's a lot of ways to play this Eternatus. Originally, we were just kind of doing what we've got here, which is, to play a lot of these, which is play it down, put damage count into Pokemon. Got the Crobat for draw. Sableye does a lot of damage with Crazy Claw, 60 damage for each damage count your opponent's Pokemon. We've got these Hoopers, which do damage, Saltgate, Evil Out Admonition, and it's just kind of straight sort of smash with Eternatus. But then I think a lot of people found that actually this was more effective. So we've got the 3/3 Toxicroak here. When Toxicroak's in play, your opponent poison Pokemon take an extra 2 damage counters. So 1 Toxicroak in play, I've got 3 damage counters. I play 3, so if I get all 3 out, poison's doing 7 damage counters between turns. Play that with Galarian Slowbro. You never guess what this does. When it's active, your opponent's Pokemon is poisoned. So you're poisoning your opponent as a means to add damage to Dread End, and you know that you've got 8 bench spaces, so you can just fill your bench up and smash. Super smash. This seems to be one of the most effective strategies. Here's another version of the Toxic Eternatus. This version is about using Garbodor. If you've got Stadium in play, your opponent's Pokemon is poisoned, so you don't have to use the Slowbro, the Galarian Slowbro. So that's another option there. This was a really effective one in the last Players' Cup, but I think it's been less effective this time. Kind of niche, going through Excadrill. I hope you're taking notes, by the way, on all these. Excadrill. Let's have a look at the other ones so we can read it. 11th hour tackle. If there are 3 or fewer cards in your deck, this attack does 180 for 1. But you have 3 or fewer cards. That's crazy, right? Discard the top 4 cards of your deck with Drill Bazooka. Does 120. Again, remember about that weakness advantage, okay, that it has on Eternatus. Cinccino. Discard a card from your hand. Draw 2. So this deck mills your own deck, but does massive damage. And then it has a few ways to get cards back. It's actually... I said Desagoons is 6 energy. I said Desagoons is the best non-GX deck, but this is also a bit of a run. This is a powerful rush down single prize deck. Very, very good, very, very effective. So that's that one. God, my throat is getting wrecked talking continuously. Inteleon, I think we can. We'll have a look at Inteleon. Inteleon's another VMAX that we could look at. It's never really been big business, this is Inteleon, and that's part of why Fire is so powerful, even because it just, yeah. Put energy attached to opponent's active Pokemon into their hand. That's annoying. 60 and 60 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this came out at the exact same time as that Dragapult. The energy cost was a bit of a problem, even with Frostmoth. So Frostmoth lets you power your benched water Pokemon as much as you like during your turn. Even so, it just couldn't keep up with Dragapult, and is forever kind of tier 2. Right, back to tier 1s. Luke Metal Zacian. Now we have looked at Zacian already. There he is. He has a counterpart in Shield, Zamazenta. Zamazenta cannot be damaged by VMAX. VMAX, not Vs, alright? So it's in there purely to wall. It can also discard special energies. There's the shiny version of it. It's quite cool, actually. This one uses Luke Metal, not ADP. So Luke Metal, Full Metal Wall. If you have an extra metal energy attached for Full Metal Wall GX, your Pokemon take 30 less damage for the rest of the game, and you discard all the energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon when you use Full Metal Wall. So against something like Center Scorch, which is mega weakness advantage, you have a nice cheeky move where you could, if they power the upper Center Scorch like 7 energy, which isn't unheard of, you can Full Metal Wall all 7 of them into the discard pile and just cause problems. You've got that. You can also Coating Energy, which takes away your weakness. That's fairly new, but you play it with Metal Goggles, so Metal Pokemon take 30 less damage. So this is kind of a real wall tank combined with hitting for 230. It's pretty decent. I believe the person that came first in the ranking part of the preliminaries of Players Cup actually just played this deck in the American. You also have this Galarian Stunfisk. Whenever it takes damage, you can just discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, which is crazy good considering the fact that you're minusing damage. So if we look back at that Decidueye, for example, Decidueye is not going to be damaged by any of these other Pokemon in this deck. Alright, it can only be damaged by Stunfisk. Now, if you Full Metal Wall, Stunfisk is taking minus 30. If you put a Metal Goggles on it, it's taking minus 60. Decidueye is a grass type, so it takes minus 30 on the resistance. Decidueye does 90 damage. Decidueye doesn't have any way to speed up its energy attachment. You have Galarian Stunfisk. If you try and punch this thing, you do 0 damage and they discard an energy. Team that with Crushing Hammer, you can actually, it's a way, it's an out against that kind of a stall. So this is quite an effective deck. Unfortunately, I think with the release of that Rusted Sword, which makes Zacian more powerful, the ADP version of playing Zacian seems to be more effective, because with Rusted Sword, you can still one-hit knockout, if I'm not mistaken. The math's 290 minus 60, yeah, 230. So you can one-hit knockout Zacian V, whereas before, you would be trading 2 hits each, which kind of leveled the playing field somewhat. But now that's gone. I think that this is maybe, I don't know, we don't know yet, it could be done. And we're finally moving on to a one-prizer deck, Mad Party. Now this is probably the best, generally considered to be the best one-prizer deck, and it's also a bit a bit of a gimmick. So if you're familiar with, oh god, is it Alice in Wonderland? I think it is. The bunny rabbit. That looks like an acid trip. Got the teapot. Got the Mad Hatter. Oh, and a little mouse as well. So all 4 of these Pokemon have the attack Mad Party, which does 20 damage times the amount. 20 damage for each Pokemon in disc pile that has Mad Party attack. So we're maxing out, if we have one in play, 4, 8, 12, 15, 300, although you're probably never going to do 300. This is not a maxed out list of this, by the way. Like Familiar Bell's not very good. You would never attack with the Dene. Your attackers are Poltegeist, which also can discard a Mad Party Pokemon to draw 2, and Bunnelby over here. So those are your only 2 attackers, 40 HP basic and a 60 HP stage 1. The energy cost is quite simple. You have your triple acceleration, which used to be called Boost Energy. It's exactly the same as Boost Energy. And you have Twin Energy, which double colorless energy, exactly the same as double colorless energy. Surprisingly, this is more effective than it is just gimmicky. It is actually quite an effective deck. It very quickly starts to accumulate damage, and think about it, right? If you can two-shot a 340 HP Pokemon for 3 prizes, and you're only giving up 1 prize, 2 prize, 1 prize at a time, then your prize count, you're always ahead. The only issues seem to come up when you start to run to Dene. But you can get rid of them with a card called Giovanni's Exile, which is not in this deck. Anyway, that is Mad Party. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Pikarom. Alright, this has been for a while BDIF. It's probably going to change now because we've got new decks coming out. In fact, it's definitely going to change. But this has been the best, probably the best deck for a very, very long time. Mew is a fairly new addition. Mewtwo GX uses any GX or EX attack in play on your side or the discard pile, which means you get access to Pikarom and Raichu. That's Raichu and a lone Raichu. Now, basically this deck starts with Boltund, Electrify to your Lightning Energy attached to your bench Pokemon, Bolt Storm 30 extra damage for each Lightning energy in play. So it's got 2 on it, so already that's 70. Yeah, I mean, that can really rack up to big damage. It's called Pikarom because of Pikarom. 3 energy, 4 blitz, 150. Attach 3 lightning energy from your deck to one of your Pokemon. It can attach to itself or someone else. Tag Bolt. If it's got 6 lightning energy, 200 and 170 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That's the GX attack. So it's a big potential boom boom fight. You could easily get 5 prizes if you 4 blitz onto yourself. Next time you tag bolt and hit like a Dedenne on the bench, then you can easily knock out. Actually, you can knock out a level a VMAX because that would accumulate 350 damage. And you could easily take 5 prizes in one fell swoop. So super powerful. A lone Raichu here, a Raichu. If it's switched out, it does 160 and paralyzes. Super powerful. Lightning Ride. If you've got an extra 2 lightning energy, so if you've got 5 energy attached in total and 4 of them are lightning, it's going to do 250 damage and you switch that Pokemon to the bench. This can also be a big hit and quite powerful. And Mewtwo and Mew can take advantage of weakness and can also take away its own fighting weakness if necessary, which means against Colossal you could never take advantage of fighting weakness as Colossal potentially. Tapu Koko powers it up. This is going soon, which as well as actually, well, Picarom's dying in September because these cards will be rotated out. But for now, they're very, very powerful. It also has Speed Lightning, which lets you draw 2 cards when you touch a lightning Pokemon. So this thing, we all thought this was going to go because it can easily be knocked out by Eternatus. 240 HP is 7 Pokemon in play for Eternatus, very easy. This can also be knocked out in 1 hit, so can this. But some reason, somehow, some way, this thing just keeps on keeping on. It's super powerful, and you can buy pretty much most of these cards. Well, 2 of them and 1 of them, and that in a single playset in a box. It comes out of the box. That's how I got these. I got these through buying the Pikachu Zekrom deck. I have actually traded them, and I've got extra ones since. Anyway, that's Pikarom. Sandaconda is not OP. Well, the box. What have I not talked about here? Egg Route. Okay. I don't own Egg Route. Rowlet. No, 1 team Rowlet. Filters. GX. Not Rowlet. X egg. Egg. Wow, what's going on here? Oh, it's not. Okay, let's try that. No. Okay, get back to me. I'll get back to you. Right, I worked out what I did. I didn't have show not owned on. So Egg Route is starting to make moves here. Super Growth basically lets you evolve a bench Pokemon up to its highest form in one turn for free as well. This is a free cost. Calming Hurricane's quite powerful. 3 energy, heal 30 from itself, not bad. Tropical Hour, this thing is pretty OP. If you get an extra 3 energy attached, then shuffle all of your opponent's energy and play back into the deck. Stupid! Especially when against something like Pikarom, which can easily get 9 energy in play by like turn 4. Yeah, I mean that is devastating to put all those back into your deck. Crazy good. Now this doesn't just work on its own. People played it with the Mewtwo and Mew GX. Let's check these filters. Let's get rid of that. Let's keep it standard, shall we? And let's have a look at Rillaboom. Rillaboom! Alright, here we go. So, Egg Route Super Growth gives you Rillaboom. Turn 1. Volta's Beat. Search your deck for 2 grass and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, this is like double Psy Shadow Gardevoir for no cost. It's very good. And that it just goes to show you how much Pokemon was upscaled through the years. So Psy Shadow used to search deck for 1 Psychic Energy attached to one of your Pokemon, and they take 2 damage counters. Now, yeah, now it's you get 2 for free. So that's silly business. Silly business. What are people comboing this with? So we've got our Rillaboom, we've got our Egg Route. Egg Route, I think Egg Route is probably the best because you can if you get 1 Rillaboom in play. So I'm saying Egg Route, that's Alolan, Executor, and Rowlet GX, right? If you get 1 Rillaboom in play, then you can, second turn, you can use that Voltage Beat, get 4 grass onto Rillaboom. You can very easily get that Tropical Hour GX set up. Very, very easily, very quickly. People started playing it well with Delmise. Delmise VMAX. So Delmise VMAX is new. 3 energy, 240. See, why does Coal also have to be 4 energy? You know? I'm pretty salty about Colossal. Colossal is underpowered. Swinging Chain as well can hit any Pokemon 30 damage times the amount of grass energy attached to this Pokemon. So again, Rillaboom can quite quickly power it up and make Delmise swing for big boy damage. Delmise V is okay. Not much to talk about. The second attack is exactly the same as the VMAX. Just does less damage. Anger, switch in and you do 130. No, 120. Oh no, sorry. If any of your grass people were knocked out, it does 120. Okay, that's not very good. Yeah, I mean, Delmise, maybe it's going to be a powerful deck. Who knows? Anyway, moving on. There it is, Blacephalon, or as people affectionately call it, Baby Blacephalon or Baby Blown. So, baby because it's not GX or V, right? Fireball Circus, discard any number of fire energy from your hand. This does 50 for each one you discard. Believe it or not, this is very easy to set up. I say very easy, it's probably easier than it should be. Fire Crystal. Right, Fire Crystal, put 3 fire energy from your discard into your hand. Okay, so already if you've got 3 on your Blacephalon, that's 150 for 1 Fire Crystal. Giant Hearth. Discard a card, search your deck for 2 fire energy, put them into your hand. So you can Fire Crystal, Giant Hearth, you've got 5, that's 250. But wait, how do you get 3 energy on this Pokemon quickly? Well, that's easy. Welder. Attach up to 2 fire energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon, then you draw 3 cards, okay? You can literally go from having a Blacephalon, a Welder, and a Fire Crystal in your hand, right? In fact, not even that. Let's say you have a Pokemon active with free retreat. You've got Blacephalon and Welder in your hand. Okay, you draw. I don't know. You draw bulk. Okay, you draw a switch. You don't need switch. Blacephalon. Giant Hearth. Get 2 fire energies from your deck. Welder. 2 fire energies. Draw 3. You've just drawn another fire energy, and let's say you draw fire energy. Let's say you just draw Godlike. Fire energy, 2 fire crystal. You attach the fire energy to Blacephalon. It now has 3 on it. You've got 2 fire crystal in hand. You can switch up use both your fire crystals, get 6 fire and deer out your discard pile. Fireball Circus 300. Okay, it can be done, and it's easy because you can chain it with. There's a Jirachi, and you can use Jirachi to get trainers out your deck, and you can scoop it and switch it in. It's Bane. It was for a while even better because it had a card called Fiery Flint, which can search your deck for 4 fire energies. It's ridiculous. Thankfully, that's gone now. I believe Blacephalon will be gone in September as well, thank God. But definitely worth knowing about if you're going to play until then. And I think finally on this list is Control. We finally got to talk about Control. So I don't really know what Pokemon to show you for Control. I mean, what was the... We've got Munchlax. Oh no, not Munchlax! So once your turn, flip a coin. If heads, put a card from your disc pile on top of your deck. If you use this ability, your turn ends. Yeah, it's not much by itself. Control is best described, I think, as it's like counterplaying. You're not trying to knock out your opponent. You're not actually trying to do anything. You're just trying to stop your opponent from doing anything, and you just stop them forever. So Altaria has the same thing as Decidueye. Prevent all damage onto your V and GXs. Control is the sort of lock deck at the moment. It's not even mill, but it kind of wins through milling, I would say. There are so many different ways that you can see. What is that basic bloody? Man, there is a basic metal Pokemon which I saw in a control deck not that long ago, and I could not believe it. I'm now going to spend an hour trying to find it. It's like not good. It's like not a good card, but it wrecked me. So yeah, this is alright. I'm going to show you an example of a control deck. So Morwild GX often gets played as well in ADP. It should be in. I just don't own any. S. It's got S in its name. I'm so sure it's got an S in its name. No, it doesn't. Lillipup, that was it. Maybe it wasn't metal. Maybe it was colourless. Let me search for pup. Yeah, this is it. The defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn, right? So this is what happened. I was playing Pikarom. I had a Crobat V in play, which cannot attack because it's a setup Pokemon. It's oh god. Let's clear that and that. Here's our Crobat V, Dark Asset. When you play it down, draw cards till you have 6. So I was setting up. It was in play. Took all the energy off it. Got that Lillipup out so that I couldn't retreat with Baby Doll Eyes, and then had Omastar in play, which if you have fewer bench Pokemon than your opponent can't play any item cards. So I was stuck with the Pokemon active that couldn't retreat, that can't attack, and I couldn't play Switch. And that was it. That was one of the conditions of lock they had created. What? There's another one, Pidgeot Control. Where is it? There it is. Airmail. Once you're in time, you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one of them in your hand, put them on the top, bottom of your deck. I don't really understand what this deck did, but it also walls your opponent. You would also play a lot of Doll, like Clefairy Doll. So Clefairy, Lily's Pokédoll, here it is. It's basically a Pokemon that has 30 HP, and you can put it on the bottom of your deck if it's active, if you want to. If you knock it out, you don't take a prize, so it's just stalling. You would also use Chip, I believe. Yeah, Chip. So look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and choose one of them. Your opponent shuffles the other cards back into the deck, then put that card on top. So you would use Crushing Hammers. You would wall with Altaria. You could set up things like that Lillipup lock. You could use that Munchlax to chain. Crushing Hammers, and Chip Ice Axe. Yeah, essentially you're just counter playing. You're not playing the game, but you're not playing it. You're not knocking anything out. You just sit there. And you might think, wow, this is kind of niche, bit dumb. Why are you talking about it? No, the most recent Players Cup, which is you get 50 keys to play in 50 tournaments. The top ranked player in Europe played Control, like this particular Control of Munchlax. Top #1 ranked in Europe. Far be it from me to say anything against people that play Control. Fair play if you're able to do it. I personally don't like it. I prefer to play a game where we try and punch each other and all that sort of stuff, and that's the win condition. But I don't blame you for doing that. It's the Pokemon company that designed the cards and allow this to happen. So, yeah, no hard feelings. But yeah, ugh. And that is, I think, all of the decks that I think are worth talking about. Apart from the ones that are coming out literally like tomorrow with Battle Styles. We could probably look at some of the big cards. The thing is, I don't actually know, obviously, what the most powerful decks are going to be, but I can tell you that. Yeah, okay, thank you. I can tell you that this is probably going to be the most OP card. Got an English version? Yeah, I do. Rapid Strike Urshifu. This is coming out in the Battle Style, so Rapid Strike and Single Strike are new parts of the game that are coming out. Some cards have Rapid Strike, some have Single Strike. Yeah. Is a Pokemon move from your bench you happen to spot? It does 150. G-Max will Rapid Flow, discard all energy from this Pokemon's attack, does 122 of your opponent's Pokemon. It is pretty powerful. This is probably going to be the most sought after card in Battle Styles. This is going to completely take out, I believe, Eternatus. It's also going to make Pikarom completely demolished because you can hit an active Pikarom for 240 with G-Max Rapid Flow and hit a bench Pokemon for another 120. It has, on its own, maybe thinking, well, okay, it's not great. Now, there is loads of support in the Battle Style set for this card, and there will be more support as it comes out. So you better believe it, this card is going to be big business. Yeah, we also have Single Strike, Urshifu. I actually think that the Single Strike card's decent. It's not as good as the other one, but it's decent. It just blows you up for 270. Nice. The other card that's going to be a big one is Corvisquire VMAX, is it called? Apparently not. Oh, it's V, isn't it? Corvisquire. Have I got the wrong one? Corviknight? Corviknight VMAX. Here we go. Ah, that's more like it. Yeah, Corviknight VMAX. I spelled it wrong. Corviknight. No, I've spelled it correctly. Okay, well, anyway, yeah, it's a metal Pokemon, does lots of damage. So that's going to be a new one that's coming out. Anyway, that's all the decks that you need to know about. So let's move on to talking about playing online. Okay, so we looked at the decks. Now let's look at playing online. So playing online is best done on the Pokemon TCG, or this program actually, on PC. It's alright, it's pretty good. Every booster comes with a code for a booster pack, which is different for the boost that you get physically, so you're not getting the exact same cards. It has on here the ability to trade. Public offers. There you go. So I can trade my Inteleon for 3 Vivid Voltage boosters if I want to. I'm not going to. You can also create trades. Of course, you can create private trades. You can create trades with friends and things like that. Yeah, it's alright. I've heard people say they don't like it. online. I don't know why. Versus is just you just play against someone with your deck in standard, or I suppose you can change it as it looks like. Doing this online can earn you a lot. As you win, as you get more of this electricity. You can see here I got a Vivolt's boost pack, and then I got a Charizard and Reshiram GX, and then I got another 2 Vivid Voltage, and then another Reshizard GX, and then I'm on the final bit. I'm going to get another 3 packs here, another 5 here, and then to finish it off I'm going to get a Full Art Hidden Welder. It's not hidden actually, but yeah, every I think 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks it rotates, which is pretty good. So online you do have the ability to build a collection very, very quickly. You can also spend this P coins, which you earn in matches and tournaments, on booster packs. So that's great. You can also buy decks, as you can see, and gameplay. So I think I actually quite like playing online. It's quite good. It's shuffled the deck for you. It's much faster. You can get through a lot more games a lot more quickly, and you get more out of it, which is great. Events also happen. You spend your tickets. Can't remember how you earn tickets to play in tournaments. You got expanded deck, theme, standard. The rewards are actually quite good. Like if you win, you get 3 Vivid Vultures, 3 of something else. You get another 400 of those. Coming second, you get 2 of each and 200. Third to fourth, you get 2 boosters and 100 things. Not winning a game, you're going to get 1 chest and 50 P coins. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's 3 rounds, single elimination, 8 players. It's okay. Sometimes you get complete. I mean, sometimes you get some heroes and sometimes you get some scrubs, and it's easy. So I don't do this that much because, as you can see, like 0 out of 8. It just takes a very long time to get in. I've played a few, as you can see. A lot of these are going to be from the Players Cup. What's that? Theme deck one there. I think I won that. Yeah, that's that. That's playing online. As you can see as well, deck manager, you can end up with a lot of decks. If you have, say, 4 of a card, then you can play it in multiple decks. So you don't have to have it. Like, for me to build all of these decks in real life, I would need to have, like, let's say this deck has 4 Quick Ball. Well, okay, so I've got 4 Quick Ball there. What about the 4 Quick Ball here? So now I've got 8. I think pretty much every deck, I think every competitive deck has 4 Quick Ball. So how many competitive decks got like 10? We'll have 40 Quick Balls. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to have that. Maybe I have physically, or maybe 2 or 3 playsets or something. That would make sense, but not 40. So that's another advantage of playing online. That's kind of where it is right now. Yeah, that's playing online. Let's jump straight into physical cards. Now, physical cards are a pain in the ass to get hold of. Boosters are none impossible. There's a big video that someone called Caribou, I believe, Caribou did recently about to be quite honest, the state of it, the absolute state of it. The state of it with scalpers. I'm going to link to it in the description. I recommend you watch it because it's kind of disheartening, but try to look past it. And originally I was going to say that playing physically is kind of a bit of a pipe dream at the moment, but that's actually not correct. I realised that it's actually not that bad finding the cards you need. I've been stocking up recently on physical cards in preparation for coming out of lockdown, and I found that even the stuff that that is quite good, I can get fairly cheap. Excuse me. So yeah, that's not too bad. And speaking of things you need, the last thing we need to talk about is the must-haves. So I'm just going to go through those right now. And this is a shorter list than you might expect. But yeah, here are the must-haves up to and not including battle styles. Right, let's not waste any time. Current must-have starter is Jirachi. Stellar Wish, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, get a trainer card, put it into your hand, this Pokemon is asleep. Okay, it has to be active. This card is pretty staple, it's in most decks, it's in a lot of decks. It's in enough decks that you should get 4, but it is rotating in September. So that's number 1. Number 2 here, we have the Boss. Boss's Orders. Oh yeah. Gust up one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This is so powerful right now, it is crazy. And there's lots of different versions of it as well that you can get. It's not actually as hard to get as you might think. They do come out in playsets and things like that. but I think owning 4 is probably a staple, even if you only use 2 at a time. Some decks will play 4, so don't worry. But yeah, get yourself 4 boss. Research. Research. You probably remember this. Discard a card. Draw. Discard your hand. Draw 7. Wow, I have 33. Yeah, just another staple. Draw loads of cards. There are different versions of it. This is Juniper. This is Magnolia. You might remember previous Juniper. Yeah, they're all research though. Same with Boss actually. There's a Boss Giovanni and a Boss Lysander. So Lysander. I believe originally it was just called Lysander. But yeah, the new one now is Boss Giovanni, Boss Lysander. But you can only have 4 in total. So that's that one. Marnie. Yeah. Each player shuffles their hand and puts it to the bottom of their deck. You draw 5, they draw 4. Big disruptive card and a good way of resetting the hand. Now, we're getting a little bit more specific. If you want to play fire decks, you should probably have a Giant Hearth. We did talk about Giant Hearth before. The other stadium that's super important. Stadiums. I can never remember its bloody name. Standard, right, that's probably going to narrow it down a bit. There it is, Chaotic Swell. Chaotic Swell basically locks the stadium. When your opponent plays a stadium card over it, they both just get discarded, so it's really annoying. But it's pretty good. Yeah, so let's reset that. Okay, right, Pokemon again. Dedenne GX. Here it is, Dede Change. This is a promo, by the way, if you're worried about getting these. So when you place a card from your hand to your bench, you can discard your whole hand and draw 6. But you can only do it once per turn, even if you have 2 Dedennes. So great setup card, but it is a 2-prizer. It's pretty prone to getting blown up. But yeah, at the moment it's a staple. It is also going to be rotated out. This one isn't though. Crobat V. We did talk about Crobat V. Play it down, draw cards until you have 6. Not quite as powerful. Also can only use once per turn, but it does have more HP. You might notice it's dark type. Why is Crobat dark? It's because it's poison. Poisons have dark type. So there's another one there. Eldegoss V. Oh, yeah, there it is. Eldegoss. This is pretty cool. When you play it down to your bench, search your disc pile for a support card, put it into your hand. You can essentially use Quick Ball. We're going to look at Quick Ball last. Use Quick Ball, get an Eldegoss, play it down, get Boss out of your discard pile, gust up one of your opponent's bench, and knock it out of the game. Very common strategy, very common thing to happen. Last thing we're going to look at, just talk about, is Quick Ball. Discard another card from your hand, search deck for a basic Pokemon. Really powerful. As you can tell, all the V's are basic, so this is obviously going to be quite powerful at the moment. Dedenne GX is basic, Crobat is basic, Crobat V I should say is basic. Yeah, very powerful card. I think I've got 4 in every single competitive deck that I have. 4, without a doubt. That's the bulk of it. I mean, there are other cards that are really good. Air Balloon is used a hell of a lot. The list of staples could probably be longer, but I wanted to keep it simple. Burrkeeper's great. Switch your activate your bench, draw 3. Looked at Boss, didn't we? The great thing about a lot of these trainers as well is that they are quite cheap to get hold of, particularly online. There are people selling digital cards on eBay, so what you can do is buy them, you add them as a friend, and then they trade it for like an energy, which is great. So you can get, this is coming back, that's why it's come up in standard here. Escape Rope is Warp Point. If you remember, Warp Point switches your Pokemon and theirs. XP Shared's also coming back, forgot about that. Fire Crystal, and a lot of these can be found in sealed decks, sealed products, which is really good. Great Ball. Something weird about Great Ball, if you remember, Great Ball is actually a reprint of Master Ball. The old Great Ball search deck for basic Pokemon put on your bench is no more, unfortunately. What else is good? What else is good that you probably want 4 of? This is coming back. Level Ball. Search deck for Pokemon with 90 HP and put it into your deck. That's just got released. Lily's Pokédoll is worth getting some as well. There's your Marnies. Metal Goggles, yep. Metal Sources are good. Ness is pretty niche. But yeah, I mean, that's most of your staples there. If you get a few sealed products, you're going to get most of them anyway. Pokemon Communication, that's still a thing, if you remember Communication. Put one Pokemon from your hand into your deck, and then get another one out. There's your Research, Quick Balls, Rare Candy. Rare Candy still can't be used on the Pokemon the turn it's played, which is why it's not very good. Reset Stamp's very good. Your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draw for each prize card they have. So if your opponent has one prize card left, you can Reset Stamp them to one and then pretty much just lock them out for the rest of the game. I think that's pretty much, yeah, scoop up net, scoop up one of your non-V or GX Pokemon. Very powerful for that Jirachi particularly. Switches, of course, you need 4, why wouldn't you? Team Yell Grunt's pretty good, put an energy attach one of your opponent's Pokemon to your hand. These are all possible things that you will look to get as you rejoin the Pokemon TCG. But that is pretty much it. That's the staple. That's the it's not really the basics, is it? This is the non-basics. This is the intermediates to get going and to get you into tournaments. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I'm sorry it's so long. I planned it a little bit, but not very much. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.